Oregon-based credit union is stepping up for our local educators through the SELCO Steps Up campaign.
The program from Eugene-based SELCO Community Credit Union just launched a new classroom initiative. The goal to help support Oregon teachers who often dip into their own pockets to pay for expenses during the school year. What teacher doesn't?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they are angels. So joining us with more on how these programs, which include some grants and even classroom makeovers, are happening is Olivia Sorensen with SELCO. Good morning.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Glad you're here.
I just think this is a great initiative.
It's awesome.
Because, you know, like we were saying, what teacher doesn't have to dip into their own funds sometimes to cover students and classroom materials? What made SELCO really want to take on this issue and support educators?
Well, you know, it really started 1936. We were actually started by educators, like a group of them came together and started the credit union.
know that.
So it is deeply ingrained in our DNA. And we know that public funding, there's a gap there when it comes to teachers and educators and them trying to do their jobs. And so we started having conversations and talking to educators and saying, okay, what are some of the issues that you're facing and how can we help? And really two themes came to the top. You mentioned teachers dipping into their own pockets to help fund some of their projects that they want to do. And actually I saw a survey that said that on average, educators are spending $700 to do that. And when you times that by the 30,000 educators, public school educators only in Oregon, I mean, that number is just astronomical. And I know educators are some of like the most creative people I have ever seen in my life. So having the ability to come up with lesson plans and being able to make them happen without having to spend their own money is absolutely something that we're happy to help with.
Yeah, and I also like to factor in the fact that teachers simply do not make enough money for what they do. You know, so $700, that's a chunk of change
already underpaid
to do your job the best way you feel like you can. So I love this idea. Okay, let's talk about SELCO Steps Up. Let's talk about the program and how these programs really fit into the mold here. So how can people take part in trying to get some of this money that you're helping with?
Absolutely. Well, SELCO Steps Up in and of itself is really our philanthropic efforts all combined under one umbrella. And one aspect of that is absolutely student and educator support. And with our SELCO Steps Up launch at the beginning of this year, we were able to bump up our grants that I'm talking about for educators, which we have been doing for years at this point. But with the SELCO Steps Up initiative, we're able to bump that up to $2,500 funding for an educator versus the $1,000 prior. And then, like I said, we also added the classroom makeover aspect.
Tell us about these classroom makeovers. So
it's so exciting. I love this. So the other part that came up when we were asking educators, like, how can we help? What are some of the issues that you're facing? Larger class sizes in the same rooms, more technology, but not really the storage or the ability to pull it into their existing format of their classrooms. So we said, okay, well, classroom makeovers would be an amazing way to do that. And we know that environment affects students and their ability to learn. So if we're able to help not only with the functionality, but also the ability of our students to learn better, how amazing to be able to do that. And so we will be funding 3 classroom makeovers up to $15,000 each, which is like $45,000 total. And I feel like educators can do a lot with that money.
That's great.
I mean, how can they apply for one of these grants?
We are taking applications now, both for our creative educator grants, which fund creative learning plans that teachers have up to $2,500, and the classroom makeovers at selco.org. We're accepting applications through September 30th. And the one thing on the classroom makeovers that I would want to encourage educators is I said that they're some of the most creative people that I've met. And so I don't want people to feel like they're constrained to what you would think of as a typical classroom, right? So you have the 25, 30 desks facing the front whiteboard. Students can learn in a lot of different places, right? There's the gymnasium, there's the library, there's outdoor spaces. So I would just encourage educators to be creative and really dream.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that traditional
absolutely.
classroom
it can
setting.
be. Like, don't get me wrong, it absolutely can be, but they know what they need.
I will, add on top of this too, between inflation, and we've seen locally here, I mean, districts simply don't have the money they used to have. There are so many budget shortfalls, so this goes that much further.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here. And you said September 30th. 30th, right? Is the
Get your
deadline.
applications in by September 30th.
Okay, teachers and those who love them, there's your homework. Olivia, thank you so
Yes.
much for joining us. Great to have
Happy
you
to be
here.
here.
If you want to learn more about the SELCO Steps Up program and apply for some of those grants and classroom makeovers, you have until the end of the month to do it. Learn more about the initiative at selco.org/steps-up.